for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities.
Hello and welcome to episode 130 of That's a Shame. I'm very enthusiastic, Isaac Bernier Doyle, and joining me just over there is Declan Edmondo Delane.
Wow.
How's it going?
I'm very well.
Smattering of applause.
Okay.
You can do one for me as
No,
well.
I'm all good.
That's fine because some people, like when Christ walks out, don't need a clap.
Woo!
Yeah. People just take their top off.
You reminded me with my Edmundo middle name.
Yeah.
My
Which you
middle name
have.
being Edward.
Well, in some cultures. Yeah.
That when I was about, I might have mentioned this before on the show, but when I was like 7 or 8,
Okay.
I got a copy of The Prisoner of Azkaban.
Lucky.
And it was around the same time that one of my friends from primary school
Went to prison.
was moving to Spain for a few months or something.
Sounds very suspicious, to be honest.
Very. And so we were all getting very excited in our friendship group because we were just all going to move to Spain.
Oh, I see. I thought you were getting excited because they was fucking off.
Yeah.
Yay, Danny's
Thank
going.
God, no more Tom.
Have him, Spain.
And so we were all sort of planning, you know, the necessities of what you need to move to Spain.
Right.
And,
Which included...
a Spanish name.
Oh, that's the first and most important.
And of course, you want to make sure that all of your belongings are prepared for when you move over there.
So you're going to have to get a label maker or...
What I went plucked for instead was
scribble.
the coffee flavoured gel pen to the front of the book.
Flavoured. So you were eating that gel pen, you've just admitted.
Just licking all over the
licking
gap.
gel
Don't
pen
even like
left, right, and
coffee, just
centre.
love ink. So I took my pen to the front of the book and wrote, belongs to
Yeah.
Declan.
Yeah.
And then underneath, in brackets, Declandio, Spanish name.
Wow. Declandio.
So that when I went over there, the Spanish people weren't confused.
Oh, right. Oh, Declandio. Oh, hola, in that case. Muchos pleased to meet you,
Mi
Declandio.
casa es su casa.
Wow, okay. Well, so you're voting for Brexit as a 7-year-old, it sounds like.
Just so that they never hear of my embarrassment.
That's for the best. Now, this is a new era of That's a Shame. That much goes without saying. And people will have noticed already a kind of ebullient professionalism that will become the hallmark of 2019's TAS.
That entire intro scripted.
Yeah, well, we've practiced it. What is
Down-
this? Take 34. So,
Down to the throat clears and the sniffs.
yeah, well, we know that we have to... There's a certain amount that we have to use.
Yep.
And it's about finding the place for them to land so that it sounds natural, but not interrupted.
Exactly.
As I was saying, we've got an episode today, that is built on research, a whole totem pole of research, if I'm honest. Much like that one in Hannibal, where it's all dead bodies that guy's terribly proud of.
I'm going to be honest. We've got,
Yeah?
you're not going to believe it,
I'm not.
14 sources.
And I've got another one.
15 sources total. You add both our brains, that's 17.
That's crazy,
That's
isn't it?
mad. That's more than any essay I
And that's
ever
all
wrote.
for you. Now, do we charge for this podcast when people, like, at the point of access? Is
No.
there a kind of gatekeeper, a digikeeper, if you will?
No, we're very much the NHS of podcasts. We're free at the point of delivery. Okay.
But we're going to sneak in a prescription charge here and there.
Yeah, there's going to be, you know, a bit of tax goes off in that sort of direction.
Nice.
And you can think of those things as the Patreon.
Oh, .com/ShameCity.
Yeah, that's the one.
Some changes coming there that we should just mention briefly.
In a mere 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, February 1st it's going to change up in a big way. We should tease this now. If you're not on the Patreon, and if you are, now I know I'm talking to everyone. I've woken you all up. Sometimes you have to divide and conquer
You
that
must
attention.
fall into one of those categories.
Then know this, and know it well. From February 1st to February 28th, the last of the days of February, we'll be running a special TAS motion over there at patreon.com/ShameCity.
You need to stop.
Where any tier, apart from the lowest one
Stop or be
that you
stopped.
sign up to, you will receive let me just check how much. Yeah, we can do these. We can afford to do both. You'll receive a pack in the post of TAS stickers, that's plural, and a badge. Now, that bit was singular. I should have led with the singular badge.
I would like to
Button,
confirm as well
you know.
that it is a TAS badge. It's not just a random badge. TAS
Whatever
stickers,
I've got
random
going.
badge.
Yeah. So that'll be very exciting, and that'll be something you'll want to check out on February 1st.
Yeah.
We're revamping the Patreon as we are revamping the show as a whole.
If I can find it, one lucky patron
Yeah.
will also receive
Yeah.
my birthday bitch badge that I got on a birthday card.
Will you sign that badge?
There's not really enough room,
So he will.
but what
be
I'll
sure.
do is
Initially.
I'll lick it before we put it in the envelope.
So you're going to lick some ink and then lick the badge. So it's a kind of tongue print, which
So
is
you
the
not
future
only
of
have
biometric.
a futuristic signature, but also potentially the ability to clone me.
Clone your
should
own.
you wish.
Hashtag clone your own.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good. Okay. Then you can have a podcast every day just in your own house. Probably in the prison section.
That's
of
how
your
Isaac
house.
likes to think of living with me.
It's great. God, the content, let me tell you, it's everywhere. It abounds. Today's episode is one which, cast your mind back, Declan. The origin story for this is several weeks old now. Maybe 2 weeks old. And
Well,
that's
we had
pretty
to
old.
get all the research done far in advance.
So prepared are we that we've been sending out messages to involved parties about this topic. Not had any responses, but that is on them, not us.
Yeah.
Because you can teach a man to fish, but you can't get the moderator of a creepy subreddit to reply to you.
no.
And that's on them.
It reminds me that that's on them, not us,
Mm-hmm.
because that isn't always a logical follow through there.
Okay.
Because as listeners will know, I've been working at a pharmacy for a little while,
Hmm.
and one of the targets that the pharmacy has to hit,
Yeah.
according to the lady who owns all of the pharmacies in the chain,
Yeah.
is a certain number of prescriptions collected each month,
Okay.
which means that if a certain number of people either A, aren't sick,
Yeah.
or B, just don't bother coming in, she gets told off.
She gets told off.
Yeah, our manager.
That's not on, is it?
It's just mad. Like, she gets a
What's
phone
she
call
supposed
being
to do,
like,
cough in everyone's
she gets like a
faces?
phone call sort of a couple of weeks before the end of the month going, there's like, still
Looks
need
like there's a
200,
great deal of Calpol.
still need
on the
another
shelves.
250 scripts this month. And you're like, well, if people aren't coming in,
Yeah,
I've
it's
said
not
I'm
on
going to
my
have to start
Anthrax
like
dollar.
yes, what I said I was going to have to start like a malaria outbreak in Graham Park
Wow.
or something like
No
that.
thanks. That's a definite no.
Well, I'll give you some of the meds
Oh,
first.
thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
That's very kind. Yeah, and plus that would up the prescriptions just off the bat because
Exactly.
I'll be getting multiple. I like to dose up fully to the eyeballs on malaria.
We'll take
meds.
you down to Barnet A&E, just get you checked in.
straight back there. Today's episode, we've beaten around the proverbial burning bush for quite some time, and there's a little hint to more astute listeners that we're talking today
About arson.
the G-man himself, the G to the O to the D.
Thought you misspelled Jesus.
G to the Easers, J Easers. It's a God-themed episode, not your usual God-themed episode, because we've talked about God before, haven't we?
We can't stop.
I
We're a
love
very
it.
godful pair.
Well, naturally, since our early days exploring the rabbit hole of Christian chat to present day when we're basically paid up members of Aslan's Holy Army.
Yeah.
And that
you're-
goes without saying
and
that it's criminal.
That's going down on paper as a religious institution, is it?
I'm sure they're angling for that, for some tax purposes. At
Right,
least.
I see, yeah.
I can't remember, now that I think about
Tax
it.
purposes on the mind at all, are they?
No, skip. Can't remember how the topic for this first came into our lives. I'm pretty sure it's something that I found on Reddit at about 3 a.m.
It was because, what was I going to say? Overwatch did an announcement, didn't they? That
yes.
Soldier 76, is it?
Yeah, so some context for those who don't have it. Overwatch is a game. You shoot the baddies. Classic game. It's made by Blizzard. They're a company that make games like Overwatch. They announced about a month ago. They didn't announce it. They just released a story that's like a comic about what the characters get up to when they're not shooting everyone. I think they call it lore. They call it some
there you
lore.
go.
Yeah, some outside external lore. And it incidentally transpired that Soldier 76, who's one of their main characters, one of the big main characters, you might think he's like the 76th biggest.
Yeah.
But actually, the other 75, not worth mentioning. He turned out to be a homosexual. Well, I guess he could be bisexual. I don't think.
Yeah, we don't know
I don't think-
exclusively.
yeah.
He didn't like. It wasn't like he wrote a letter saying,
He wrote, "Dear Overwatch players,
community.
I'm breaking the fourth wall today to share with you my rampant capital R."
capital homosexuality.
And as you can imagine, it being the gaming community, although we've seen some great things from the Donkey Kong aspect of the gaming community as of late, they're not all, shall we say, as on board the hype train of progressivism as you would hope.
No.
And there's still some of that Gamergate hangover left where I think, of course, it was about ethics and games journalism.
course.
But, you know, the other side of that coin is that they do hate women and minorities. Really a great deal.
An enormous amount. And especially when they deign to intrude.
Into the
on
safe
the
space
actual-
of
Well,
games.
it's not a safe space.
No,
It's not a
no,
safe
sorry, that's
space.
just me saying that
It's not
because
a
I'm
safe space
kind of a
because
snowflake.
that's for sort of snowflake.
Yeah,
parks,
no, that's
isn't
how
it? No,
I
it's-
see it.
No, it's because it's
To them, it's a very dangerous
No,
space.
it's just
sitting in your bedroom.
it's just an insular community
yeah.
that doesn't allow an outside voice or opinion. It's
pretty cool when you
in
put it
order
like
to
that.
protect
Kind of like a
their
castle.
view. Yeah, like a sort of castle built out of hate.
Or a great big stone scrotum.
Yeah, again built out of hate,
Right.
and also built out of an ignorance of the world around you,
Well, as they all are.
and of course a virginity.
Oh,
Less
certainly.
staggering,
3 for 3.
a staggering incelility.
Now, I was, for some reason, indisposed during the time of this announcement, or it didn't trickle down to me until a little bit later, because normally something like this happens and I'm straight on my sources, monitoring the drama.
Yeah.
I love to be amongst it. I love to see
He loves to
who's
just
saying
nestle
what,
in there.
which idiots, like which angle particularly will be coming from in our wrong-headedness this time as a global community of internet warriors. So I was pretty late to it, and I remember now searching on Reddit, Soldier76 gay, to see what would come up. And when sorting by like top, it was all just, you know, news stories from like Polygon. Like, wow, this is interesting. Look, another LGBT character trying to be representative of the world at large. Good job, Blizzard. Then there were some of the more edgy outlets claiming that it was pandering, would you believe?
Pandering,
Yeah.
well, to whom?
Well, to the lib cucks, yeah.
Right.
The kind of cucked liberals.
And why would it be pandering? I mean, why would they be pandering?
Well, because I suppose it's toxic masculinity, isn't it? Because he's the patriarchy, and if he's gay, then you're a snowflake.
This is sounding like a lot of loony lefty nonsense right here.
Well, exactly. That's what I'm
I
saying.
see.
That's
Sorry, I
why
was just gonna say, right.
Yeah. Because we know
I just wanted to throw my hat in the ring there because I don't want you thinking
that you're some kind of
queer.
far be it from me to. You did have that rainbow flag that was unrelated.
No,
on
I'm
Twitter.
bi, but I'm not.
Oh, right, I see. That's fine. It's good to draw these distinctions.
Yeah, no. All I'm doing there, that was a bit of satire here, is I'm just poking fun at them.
Yeah.
Because they're hypocrites.
Uh-huh.
Because I
The
reckon...
bisexuals.
No, the gamers.
Oh, okay.
Because I reckon if they knew that it meant they could say not a virgin anymore, they'd suck dick in a second.
Wow, bold
Every
claim.
last one of them.
Goodness me.
So desperate and lonely are they?
I sorted by new, and those of you who are frequenters of any kind of internet website, some of them, Google, YouTube, christianchat.biz.
A favourite.
Sorting by new is the kind of thing that you must do advisedly, because there's some real problem stuff that people post, and there are good folk out there, janitor types, whose job it is to remove that before we ever have to see it.
Yeah.
Someone will post something so offensive and mad, and luckily for us, it's gone within a minute. Maybe a robot removed it, maybe a person tasked with seeing that which ought not be seen by human eyes, staring straight into the abyss and having it stare right back.
And yeah, mostly that's a kind of organic function of the upvote, downvote system.
Downvoted into hell and oblivion and hell.
Exactly, and things that are worth your time upvoted.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, given that it's only a dedicated mob
Yeah,
of people who live there, the what is and isn't worthy is skewed.
really skewed. Skewed today towards the subreddit and community, because subreddit, it marginalizes it in a way that I'm not willing to do, because this is a movement, really, that is our Catholic gamers. Not R as in our, R as in /r/Catholic gamers.
Yeah.
But I like to think of them as our Catholic gamers as well now, because they're ours. We own them.
Well, yeah, obviously.
We're the king of them.
Yeah. Well, they're just subjects in our world.
Yeah, in the game of Risk. Well, I've never played it, so I don't know how it works.
They're the
They're the
pieces that
pawns?
I use to beat up your
They're
pieces.
the little top hat or the dog.
Plonking them all over Europe.
Catholic gamers, a subreddit, when last I checked, of around 800 people.
Let me have a quick check.
Surprisingly active for that number.
959.
It's on the way up.
subscribers.
It's going to hit 1,000 this month. I'm calling it RN.
Yeah.
There's only a few days left. January is a big month for Catholicism, because it's the month when people are like, oh, Jesus' birthday was great. Maybe I should stick to some of his teachings throughout the new year.
And which of his teachings are you specifically doing this year?
It's the golden rule for me.
Yeah?
Yeah. Just treat others the way you want to be treated.
Yeah.
And I do that all the time.
So what you want is to have...
To be mocked by Catholic gamers.
Yeah. And to be, I don't know, put upon by people using a lot of new,
Yeah.
dull,
Right.
and often insufferable portmanteaus.
Love it.
That's what you want, is it?
Absolutely
Yeah.
all over that sort of...
I used one the other day. I can't remember what it was. Just because I knew it would amuse him, and he specifically flagged up that he'd liked it. It was, and that wasn't in an online conversation. That was in person.
So, look,
He
I've
went-
got a response.
He
ready,
said,
but I'm going to have to stop you there.
He said,
come over to this corner.
He literally said, "Don't think that went unnoticed."
Look, I like them. That's part of my New Year, New Me, is that we need to find these opportunities for fun manteaus wherever possible.
For a portmansplosion.
Yeah, absolutely all over the gaff. Catholic gamers, 900 strong. Obviously the army of God. That much goes without saying. And it turned out that they had a response. I don't know if you're readying it now, Declan, to the Soldier 76 quote unquote controversy.
So this is a post from you, Brain Freeze 91.
91, so only a little older than I.
Yeah.
It always disconcerts me to know when someone very religious is that young.
Yes.
Because that's very young, isn't
Feels
it? Just
like
being on-
indoctrination there, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You
Especially-
don't pick that up by yourself.
No, it's thrust upon you, most likely.
Yeah. So he's posted, so the latest lore from Overwatch is that Soldier 76 is gay.
Uh-huh.
Bit presumptuous, as we said, but,
Yep.
we can forgive them that, I think, for the time being.
Yeah.
How does everyone feel about this? I really like playing Overwatch, but it makes me uncomfortable that it is participating in this culture shift. There's a nice bit of right-wing
Culture
terminology
shift,
there. Yeah.
Cultural Marxist shift.
Well, obviously.
Yeah, what
Who
else
else
would
would
it
be
be?
behind it?
Lenin? Come on.
Oh, could be.
Could be.
He loves it.
He can't get enough.
It feels like Moira will come out as transgender next,
another
having been
character.
genetically altered to look female. I could see it happening, he says.
Wow, could he?
Yeah.
He's really thought about it.
This is Overwatch's second confirmed gay character, the first being Tracer.
The best character in the game.
Then this is my favourite paragraph of this post.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so wrapped up in this. I feel bigoted just typing this out.
That's a lovely moment of self-reflection. And we're back.
Yeah, no, that is. Oh,
We went for different approaches.
Oh, you were going to-
I'm being honest with the audience that we took a pause there because Ghost appeared. And you were just laughing it off.
That's some bold honesty.
Back on with the show.
Yeah. Does anyone else feel uncomfortable about this? I know that gay people exist.
Well done.
And if we're being realistic, gay people should exist in media too. That's a nice concession there from him.
If we're being realistic is a funny way to preface that.
But it definitely doesn't contribute anything to the story of the game other than validation and representation for this group of people.
Other than...
Yeah, is an amazing thing to say. Why is that not enough?
Yeah, it's a good question.
It would be the question to
I
pose
imagine
back.
all the comments are going to be asking that, like, why is that not enough?
Don't
Don't you see
yeah.
that you've just made a good argument for more representation?
Representation and validation of existence is essential.
If I know
to-
Catholic gamers, that's going to be the thrust.
Yeah, which only furthers, validates and reinforces a sinful lifestyle. It's weird because he's trying to be like, hey, I'm assuming he, but it definitely is.
Yeah, 100% is a man.
I don't want to be cruel, let people live their lives. They exist. They should exist in media, but they're filthy and they're sinful and they are going to hell.
Hell! The devil's playthings.
Overwatch has other problems too now that I'm on the subject.
Oh, God.
A main plot point is the struggle between Omnics, brackets robots, and the humans, and how currently they are living in harmony as equals, inventing the idea that robots can have free will and souls. There are Omnic-hating characters, but they're looked down upon as racist.
Oh no! Hang on. There's nowhere that it says they have souls. What part? When would that come up in Overwatch?
Well, because if
by the way, Chief, they all got souls. These robots.
you gotta
that.
shoot the soul out of them.
Suck it right out through its robo eyes.
It's like they envisioning what the next civil rights issue will be.
The next one is going to not be robots with souls. That's mad. 1960s.
I love the idea of like Zuckerberg inventing the Digisoul and just pushing it into all of his bots.
Horrible.
Oh dear, the next civil rights issue.
That's an amazingly short time frame to think that we're going from like Martin Luther King to soul having robos.
Do you think Stonewall will have a position or
They can't get enough robots.
and placing gay rights as something done and settled with?
Yeah, you're right. That is a cap on gay rights.
Yeah.
When Soldier 76, a fictional man.
Well, that's it. That's the end of oppression.
That's that one. Another battle solved.
The world of Overwatch seems like a secular paradise with no mention of religion in sight, other than an Omnic religion reminiscent of Buddhism.
Yeah.
No mention other than this religion. Sorry for the wall of text, but am I right in feeling this way? What's the appropriate Catholic response to all this?
Good question.
I really like this game, but it's a shame the story is so bad. Someone responded.
Yep.
This is from Bejeweled Bird.
Okay, so it's
Is
a really
that a
nice
biblical
image.
reference?
Yeah, it's the one that flew off the ark and came back really, really dazzling. He'd like absolutely popping.
It's honestly disgusting. And since their game is losing relevance, they're attempting now to pander. There it is again.
Oh, no.
It cannot be ignored. They are directly supporting sin either. I've given up on
Are
Blizzard
they?
games a while ago personally due to their, frankly, evil behaviour.
Evil!
Yep. The correct response, time to give up Overwatch.
Wow, okay.
Wow.
So it was time now, but not when Tracer was gay.
Yeah,
It's like two gays
That's
and you're
like
out.
because also at that point it could have been
An
that
accident.
or or that she would turn out to be a kind of villainous character, and the
That would have been
message
a big plot twist.
and the message was don't be like this.
Yeah.
It's sinful.
And currently, because she's not villainous, the message is if you're a gay woman, you're going to be extremely fast,
Yeah.
able to rewind time.
There will be a lot of internet pornography
Very
about
stylish
you.
hair as well. Yeah, so I guess that is, directly supporting. I don't know if that's in the Bible specifically that we have to look out for fast
No.
time traveling women.
It's an interesting idea that it kind of is seen as sort of promotion of these ideas. Like people playing Overwatch either A, won't have heard of these ideas, or B, that someone playing is going to be like, Soldier 76 gay.
I could be gay.
That could be me. I reckon I could do that. I've not considered being gay yet.
It's also not like they've gone in and added a bunch of like very stereotypically gay voice lines to Soldier.
He wears arseless chaps.
They just like the thing about the reason this is such a banal complaint is that the game is literally just
No different.
shooting.
It's the
just
game
doing some
hasn't
shoots.
changed at all.
No.
They've not had to add in a patch where he now minces around the map or something.
He fires flower bullets.
Yeah,
It's very
He's
silly.
got a big rainbow gun.
Yeah.
It's literally just someone wrote a comic in which he happened to be gay.
And then they released an update where all characters shout trans rights are human rights as their alt. And people, for some reason, kicked off.
Someone said this was one of our more
Liberal pals?
no.
Oh, no.
No. This person, they came at it from a sort of historical perspective with the
Okay.
gaming industry. I just got through with playing The Last of Us, which I thought was a tremendous game that really played off of the strength of the adopted father-daughter relationship between Joel and Ellie.
Yeah.
That is kind of it.
Taylor's old as time.
Then the DLC happened.
Oh no, I remember.
They could have left Ellie and Riley to be best friends instead of romantic interests.
What a boring thing.
In fact, being a close female friend would have perfectly fit the DLC story instead of forcing a kiss and a few subtle romantic tones that didn't need to be there. I love this. It's like that the lesbians herald kind of meme that people look on history and like, wow, thinking of like The Favourite, which we went to see.
Yeah.
You're like, wow, Queen Anne, and she had these two hot female pals, and they were such good friends that
They'd spend loads of time in their room.
Yep.
Probably, what do women do?
Yep.
So
and they would sleep in the same bed because they were such good friends.
it was just totally cool.
It was, it was an age where women weren't afraid to be platonic friends in that way.
Not like now.
No, God.
Tracer, have you seen what she's done to the agenda?
Then the trailer for The Last of Us sequel comes out. I don't need to say anything more about that.
Okay.
I'm pretty
I haven't seen
sure.
it. Is it very
I'm
gay?
pretty sure from other comments that I've pieced together that either the trailer, or I can't tell if it's the trailer or the actual launch,
Two male zombies fucking.
where they showed the trailer, happened in a church, and there was a like lesbianism. There was a lesbianism act that happened.
Oh no.
Lesbianinity.
Well, that's rude, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
the church, they can't stand it.
I think it's absolutely a sign of pandering from Blizzard, which isn't surprising. And it continues to reinforce the idea of normalcy that we as humanity get to define who we really are and to separate our minds from our bodies.
And that's all very bad. All of it.
I love the
ask
idea
why.
that someone wrote a gay comic and now we're being forced to separate mind and body.
That is bold.
What can we, as Catholics, do? Speak the truth. Mm-hmm. Don't support outspoken evil. I won't be getting Last of Us Part 2.
Wow, that's going to make a big difference.
Discern for yourself if it's best to continue playing Overwatch. I think I would personally find some issue if stuff like this kept popping up. There's a million other games out there that don't do this, and good games are a dime a dozen nowadays. Almost literally rip Steam backlog.
Nice bit of commentary.
What really makes me sad is that I'm rewatching The Lord of the Rings right now. And with modern culture, I could see a progressive director really ruining the same relationship between Sam and Frodo. Well, cast your minds back to the
that was
reason
me.
for the season.
Oh, well, I
And
didn't
one-
write that fanfic.
I think
I
you
wouldn't admit
expose
to that.
yourself. And one, not director, but one progressive author has already explored this.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say more than one
Oh,
as
God.
well.
I think this person is so naive if
Yeah.
they think that that's the first time that's happened.
This is again along the exact same lines as their lesbians angle, ruining the relationship between Sam and Frodo, which is one of the best displays of courage and sacrifice for friends that can be seen in a movie.
Since Brokeback Mountain. Poor boy.
Oh
He's
dear.
misguided, isn't he?
Now there was an interesting comment because the Last of Us angle,
Did it spawn a whole lot more debate?
yeah, it kind of turned up everywhere.
Well, I think the Pope commented on it directly, didn't he? I mean, I wasn't there. I haven't read the transcripts, but I think he came out to that balcony like he does in St. Mark's Square. No, that's the wrong city. St. Peter's or whatever it is. And he must have been there for I think he did like a live stream playthrough of it to show how sinful it was. And gaming in that sense has always been kind of core to the Catholic catechism. So it's only right that they're attuned to it.
In fact, there was a reference to a post from nearly a year ago about The Last of Us. Who else is mad at how gay they made The Last of Us 2 trailer? I swear they were just pushing it with the trailer. I know they made her gay in the DLC and fine, but this was just so needless in a trailer. It served no story. It was just there to win SJW points. I expect more from Naughty Dog.
Wow, yeah.
And this spawned perhaps my favourite comment of the entire of the entire catechism of comments that we've collected during our You Will Remember research.
I remember it.
I don't care about the presence of gay characters in games, but I'm tired of the statistically improbable lesbians repeatedly showing up in games and the political narrative pushing that comes with it is absolutely tiring. It'd be more realistic if a slender, attracted self-identified lesbian ended up with a boyfriend by the end of the story.
Would it?
Yeah, do you think?
Would
do you
it,
not,
though?
do you not think so?
Someone who identifies as a lesbian ending up with a boyfriend would be.
Do you think that would be more realistic? Yeah, like a slender, attractive.
So when you say slender,
slender.
yeah, and attractive,
And yeah, but self-identified lesbian.
well, you know how sexuality is. It's just made up, isn't it?
Yeah.
To sell video games.
It's a gender fluid sort of sexuality spectrum.
Yeah.
And it's just all SJW nonsense.
Well, of course.
And they're
because
pushing for
we
it.
all know that under God there can be only, Adam and Eve, not Eve and this girl from The Last of Us. Very rarely.
that would
were
be
they
amazing
shipped.
if The Last of Us 3,
They're in Garden of
retconning that Elle was in the Garden of Eden.
Banging.
Fucking Eve.
That
all
would
that
be
stuff with the snake.
very
was bullshit.
metaphorical.
That'd be amazing.
Statistically improbable lesbians is a great phrase for sure.
It sounds like
SILs.
it sounds like a Netflix show or something. I think
Yeah.
someone said.
A show that we probably shouldn't be involved in the writing of. I'm
Not
just
us.
ruling that out now.
No, but I want an executive producer credit.
Well, I came up with the idea. So I'll be
Was this your comment?
created by... What's my username there? I
Your
forgot what
username there
that
was yes, of course, naturally.
Yeah, of course.
Naturally.
That's why I came up with it. It just happens.
Yeah, statistically improbable lesbians is an amazing idea, just because it implies that this person has done some research into how often are people lesbians, how many women are there in games, and therefore done like some crude maths to be like, this is just way off.
I like the idea that he's got like a chart of all games and then a tally beneath it of like The Last of Us, 2 lesbians, Minesweeper, none, question mark, none so far.
That flag is definitely bi-curious.
Tetris, I see flamboyant blocks in there.
They're phallic as hell.
Yeah, it's a real shame. The Catholic gamers aren't just interested in the soldier issue and weren't just interested in The Last of Us. They also branched out into some more philosophical discussions about what it's like to live as a Catholic gamer, because I can only imagine, and far be it from me to even try to project that kind of struggle, where every day you're coming home from your work, probably as a priest or one of those altar boys or what else is religious work. Maybe the people that make the wafer,
Yeah.
which I always was told was blind nuns that used to stamp on it, and it made me feel sick.
Who told is that your grandma? Again?
No, I don't think so, actually. I don't
Really?
like to think who it was.
Who was it?
My grandma told me that bacon wraps around your heart.
Yes,
Bacon fat.
I know, and
So
that's why I would have
yeah.
presumed the two thoughts seem fairly adjacent.
You think the kind
Yeah.
of person who thinks
That's the
bacon
same
fat wraps around
perverted
the heart.
mind.
No, I don't remember who that was. But to know that all you want to do after a long day, you've been working 20, sometimes 22 hours a day. You come home, you just want to kick back and relax. But if you were to boot up your Spyro Reignited trilogy now and find it pushing the agenda down your throat.
Well, all I'm saying is that in the level I was just doing, there were monkeys,
Okay,
apes,
right.
right? And they were, doing things that were pretty anthropomorphic. And I can't help but feel that it's really heavily pushing this evolution angle.
In Spyro,
In Spyro the Dragon. And that's only the first one.
that makes me sick to know, honestly. And I'll be writing to Toys for Bob to find out why they hate God and love Darwin so much. The filthy
I think they
freaks.
tried to bring it back with the Year of the Dragon, where you've got to go around and save all the eggs. And
Okay.
that's a kind of anti-abortion message, I think.
Yeah, Spyro's always been on our side as Catholic gamers, as far as I know.
Are we Catholic gamers?
Well, of course we are.
I'm a baptized
Yeah,
gamer.
so am I. I'm a
God, we're
baptised
Catholic
Catholic
gamers.
gamer.
I'm going to mod this up. We really are the king of these fucking cucks.
Good, isn't it? As I was saying, far be it from us to hypothesize about that struggle of I want to have fun, but I don't want to be challenged intellectually. I don't want to have this narrative I disagree with, this so-called social justice war forced upon me when I just want to shoot some heads in Overwatch. And that got the Catholics thinking about what would be the perfect game, what would be the ideal Catholic game, and it got us thinking about it as well.
Yeah. Because you've got lots of problems that you need to overcome. Like, obviously, you want to bring in elements of faith and Christian, specifically Catholic theology,
and it's got to be Catholic. We're not Protestant gamers.
There's no,
here. We're not Anglican.
There's no
gamers.
Mormon gamers.
As if.
But this comes with a lot of trials. One Apposite user simply asked the question on the sub: is playing The Sims morally acceptable? Is having that kind of godlike control over life, death, creation? Someone else commented in response to that: I stopped playing The Sims 2 back in the day when I realised that in the game's imposed order of things, woohoo, in scare quotes, always comes before marriage.
And I think we know what that means.
That kind of wrecked it for me, it says.
Well, it's fucking.
It's
fucking
Sims before...
Digi-fucking.
Digi-fucking before marriage.
Outside of the holy match.
Digi-fucking before cyber marriage.
Yeah, and that, well, God hates it.
He can't...
It's not one of those that he specifically put in the Bible.
He thought we would be smart enough to figure that one out for ourselves.
Yeah, because it follows naturally from false idols.
Don't murder.
Yeah.
You might not have got that one on your own, but don't make The Sims cyberfuck before digi-marriage. That should just be common sense. That's really par for the course.
It is.
You can't have too much spending in your game. As one user asks, do I put God first financially insofar as I'm able? Can't be having lots of DLC when people have got tithes to give.
Oh, okay. I didn't realise that. So so it's not even just a spiritual, psychological, political problem. It's also a financial, I've got all this money for the Lord.
Yeah.
Because the Catholic Church, they're destitute as far as I understand. They've got all that priceless art and that ceiling that Michelangelo did, but you can't sell that these days.
And all of that land that they own, that's basically worthless now because it's in Italy.
Yeah. And since the UK is leaving the EU, like Italy's probably going to float off into the sea.
And they've got all that tax to pay as well, don't they?
God, it must be rough. Must be rough.
Well, you know what? We know
tax is like. Yeah, we've been doing our returns and it's a real drag, the whole thing. Real challenge.
One of my old jobs doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, no.
They're a big front.
I found in a thread where they're talking about Skyrim, the question was, what was everyone's thoughts on Skyrim Elder Scrolls? What choice did you make in the game? The first person to reply was honestly the most boring thing I've ever read. They just went like in chronic detail through everything they did, and none of it really pertained to Catholicism at all. They even, and I think this is where they fall into the fake Catholic category, they were more than happy to join the Dark Brotherhood, who are just assassins. They're killers for hire. And this fake Catholic is out there
a Catholic
leading the charge. Don't speak more. However, Archromat spoke up. This was only a week ago. I play with a mod called Epic Restoration, in which whenever one of the Daedra, that's a kind of demon figure in Skyrim, tries to recruit you for a quest, you cast a spell called Renounce and kill him and the quest.
Wow.
If you renounce at the right time, you get a passive bonus. I think there's something so fucking futile about writing a whole mod to remove the demon aspect where you can become a kind of warrior of the light, where all that happens is you just get a passive bonus to some like inane quality. So all you're doing is just cutting out content from the game by going around and being like, "Be gone, demon!" And it's like, well, I had 30 hours of quest, but fine.
Why won't you die?
It's just so silly and sad.
Other problems that you might come across. Music.
The music's an issue?
Well, it could be. One user asked,
okay,
Low Kick 21,
big fan of that user,
would using Gregorian chant in a Let's Play be offensive to God?
Oh yeah, no, it would. That's good. It's good to ask a binary question because I can confirm yes.
Yeah, and you know, so that might be something we might have developed an entire game.
Yeah.
And then we're like music, and you're like, well, Gregorian
big
chant,
fan,
obviously.
Spooky, atmospheric.
Yeah, well, and when you say spooky, you mean godful.
Yeah, well, God is the ultimate. The ultimate in spooky guys.
Get that on a t-shirt. And then you send it out, and everyone goes, "Fucking hell!" Look, well, not hell, obviously,
No.
fucking.
Well, actually,
They go,
no, but you're allowed to say hell's bad, so I think you're allowed to say
"Goodness gracious!"
freaking hell. You'd say
Oh, what about friggin'?
no.
No,
Get off the air.
sorry, mea culpa.
Nice.
Thanks.
That was good. That was a good bit of Catholic material there. If you were Declan, I'm talking to you now.
Yeah.
The Catholic in you. If you were tasked with designing a Catholic video game to appease the Catholic gamers, talk me through some of your broad stroke ideas. We're going to blue sky together the ultimate Catholic experience.
Well, I think that one of the main hurdles that we have here is not to be a downer about our glorious faith. But there are a lot of rules.
Yeah.
And so really, what I found when trying to blue sky this previously is that there's not lots of room for creativity so much as there is for shutting down creativity.
But that can be its
There's
own
lots
kind
of
game.
things that you can't do.
Some of those are the most fun things of all, though, aren't you? Like when someone's like, "You can't go in this room," you're like, "Cool." Bet it's good secrets.
Yeah, but-
and then you just skip off
Yeah,
to
but-
rooms you can go in.
But then normally you come back and you get into it later.
Oh,
but
no,
this
no,
is
no.
the sort where you just don't.
Well, because if God's telling you not to do it, then you will love not doing it.
Yeah, true. So what you
That's
want?
why no one has sex before marriage.
So is God going to be a character in our game?
I'm pretty certain that that's going to be a false kind of idolatry territory.
Even if he's not actually in it? It's just like a voiceover?
Who can you get to do God's voiceover, though? Obviously Ian McKellen.
Well, yeah.
But
Has he got a pass? You have to get the Pope. I think it's in the Bible that you have to get the Pope to do it.
if you could get the Pope to be involved because of the doctrine of, what's it called? Papal get out of jail free card.
Infallibility.
Yeah. Then the game would automatically be fine. So if you could get Pope, what is it now? Francis?
Yeah.
To just have a peek at it and be like, looks good, then you could record that, play it as an audio clip before the game, and then it's honestly fine. Because,
And then we can have a game in which God just goes round and is gay.
Wow.
And it's been condoned.
I think you're right there, that the game from the perspective of an aspiring Catholic, if it was like an RPG, like you're just playing life as a wannabe up and coming Catholic, that could be challenging. And so what I'm thinking is that we kind of zoom out of that angle, go just across town to the Vatican and zoom in there, and it becomes a kind of,
Pope RPG.
yes, and it's
A PPG.
a PP. Well, we're not going to call it that. That has not tested well in my focus groups for multiple reasons, I'm afraid. But what if you play as a cardinal, and the game opens with the very sad, blessed calling of Pope, the one before, up to the Lord to be back with Jesus.
Yeah.
And then it's your job to devise a series
Kill
of
the other
events,
cardinal
Hitman style, so that you're the de facto Pope. And in fact, that's the title.
But-
de facto Pope.
But I actually don't know this. Is it not presupposed that actually it's God working through the cardinals to pick the person who is Pope?
Yeah, of course.
So doesn't this seem to go against that, in that you're actively attempting to sabotage what might be God's plan and make it your own?
You can't sabotage God's plan.
Yeah, but then
If God's plan
so it's,
was sabotaged,
what
then
I'm afraid
that's
what you've
fine.
made then is a film.
Oh.
You don't get to make any choices.
No, but I think the idea is that because God's given us free will, of course.
Right. What if God speaks to you at the very beginning and he's like,
And he's on your shoulder like
And
a
he's-
sort of a wise bird.
yeah, he sort of appears in and out with like a puff of smoke,
Like a ghost.
with a little pun sort of line.
Oh, I don't know if God puns. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
he's
not
the ultimate punner because he invented language.
suppose
He invented
so,
all
yeah,
of them
no, that's-
back when he knocked down the Tower of Babel
colour me
because they
convinced.
got too close to his house.
That's fair.
So what if he sort of comes down and he's like, "Hello, you're going to be the next pope."
Okay, he sounds like he's trying to sell me a free yacht on the phone.
And then it is kind of like mission style. He's like, you need to bribe Giuliani with this. He's looking to vote for a pope from Argentina, and I just can't.
Not
have
again. Not 3 in a row. God, mistakenly.
Yeah.
God's not been watching Earth for a little while. There's something very good on space TV.
And then God's like, go to the security cameras. You'll find footage to blackmail him.
I don't think God knows about footage as a concept.
Does he not?
It's his blind spot. Yeah.
Wow.
The recorded tape.
Oh, we don't have to worry about anything we put in the game.
I think, okay, yeah, you've presented a valid criticism, which is that it could become, on the one hand, it's going to become too like mission based, and that's going to lean into violence most probably.
But surely, like, then there's, you know, a linguistic crossover with being like a missionary.
Oh, okay. So his name could be Eric, and it's called Missionary. And his job is to become the first pope called Eric in the history of thought.
That's his name and his papal name.
Some other folk out there have been pondering this question since, not quite time immemorial, but 1991.
Oh, okay.
Certainly.
Wow.
When, I don't know if you remember, well, you don't because you weren't alive, Bible Adventures came out for the NES.
Oh, wow.
It's not a game that I've seen on the Switch's online service where they're bringing back some of
I think they're just probably
building to it.
revamping it.
Yeah, it's probably the one that, like, when a year has been up, they're like, come and renew your online subscription because look at this, it's Bible Adventures.
Yeah.
Just want to read you some of the Wikipedia entry therefore. The game is a collection of 3 games, already you're getting value there, based on stories contained in the Old Testament. Now, I don't know about you, that's probably one of the big testaments.
That's my favourite testament.
Is it? That's good, that's good.
It's the one, you know, well, because already by the time they wrote the New Testament, they were edging towards that kind of SJW
Forgive
nonsense.
everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's none, like, God has been absolutely cucked. He's not doing any more.
Is that like in between the Old and New?
Yeah.
The Lost Testament.
Yeah, because, you know, in the Old...
Yeah.
He's, you
Very
know, doing
furious.
plagues and he's smiting
Stoning
people. And then in the next one, he takes sort of a back seat. They recast him as this Jesus guy. And he comes down and he's all like, oh, help people.
Yeah, and that doesn't appeal to you as much as
No,
a
and he's
Catholic
like,
gamer.
and he's like, oh, you know, only judge if you've never done anything wrong.
And you're like, I'll judge who I want.
Yeah, because they're wrong.
Yeah, I like that. I like that fiery spirit. And I think you're going to appreciate then. The 3 games
Good.
are called Noah's Ark, Baby Moses, and David and Goliath.
Baby Moses.
Baby Moses.
Please tell me that the Baby Moses game is just navigating a basket down a stream.
Well, we're going to come to that one in a moment because I just want to tell you about David and Goliath first. It's
Okay.
the simplest game of the 3. In David and Goliath, the player starts out controlling David as he herds sheep, as he was wont to do, and avoids predators such as lions and bears.
Okay, yeah.
So already that's a lot of fun, you'd say. That's probably a AAA like game of the year contender just now.
And they're not. He's not having to fight the bears.
No, just avoid them. So
Yeah,
far.
because remember, we are stewards of the earth.
Absolutely, and one facet of our stewardship is that we can commune with nature in the sense that acorns can be used to stun the beasts. So that's good.
Oh, okay, that is good.
That's also going to foreshadow something that David's pretty famous for that might come up later.
Right.
The player then obtains a sling and goes on to dodge guards, stones, scorpions, before he fights Goliath's shield bearer, and ultimately Goliath himself, whom the player must strike just once in the head to defeat.
Oh, okay.
And that's the game.
That's all right, yeah.
So that's probably like a quick in and out one. It's probably in modern parlance like a game of CSGO, something like that, where you're in, it's just kind of twitch reactions, you're like firing acorns off at bears.
Quick, chuck
Whoa, 180.
Chuck a pistachio at a lion.
Straight at him. In Noah's Ark, the player must round up animals and food, sometimes by knocking animals out, which I don't remember from the story, with an
I love
object.
that. Noah going over, like, trying to coax the lions on. And
Come on! And then as soon as God's looking away, it's like, fucking get on the ark,
hits him
you
with his big
cunt!
stick, dragging it by the tail.
The question of accuracy may come up again in this very sentence, because sometimes he knocks the animals out with an object that resembles a barrel. Sometimes he's catching fruit thrown by a monkey, which again, the Genesis was too afraid to tell us about.
Well, he didn't want to make him look like he was being messed around by the monkey. He's one of the patriarchs, isn't he?
One of the great questions of game design that we were reflecting on with Spyro recently, because it's got that very weird mechanic where the colour of your dragonfly indicates your health meter.
Oh, yeah.
Used to be that games just had a like UI health meter. It would go down, down, down.
Yeah.
It's very simple. It's like the first idea you'd come up with.
Yeah.
Then people went a bit off-piste. We came up with this weird dragonfly era. Now it's much more popular, or at least was, that the screen starts to display like in first-person games like Haze and Blood that's like, get out of there, but you don't have a set kind of meter. The way they approached that in Noah's Ark from Bible Adventures NES 1991 was that your health can be affected by, you know, anything, whether it's a barrel, a monkey throwing fruit.
Yep.
But your health is recharged when the player reads Bible verses that are scattered around the 4 levels.
Right. Oh,
That's pretty cool, isn't it? Because that's rewarding. That's associating in a Pavlovian manner that sense of progress of like, oh, I feel safe again with the word.
It gives me life to read the Bible.
And what better reason to memorize Bible texts than to regen some health?
Yeah, to go and knock out a zebra
Really
and drag its corpse onto your boat.
Weird final sentence of description here that kind of asks more questions than it answers. Snakes seen on the trees are decoys. The real snakes are inside of a cave. So take from that what you will. I don't know if that's.
I love that the
of the game or
Wikipedia
just general.
has got like advice
Yeah.
in the general description, advice
How
on
to
how to
win.
beat it.
Now, Baby Moses. In Baby Moses, which I can only imagine the theme tune must have been stellar,
We're going to have to try and find it.
the player controls Miriam, Moses' sister, as she tries to save her brother from the Pharaoh's decree that all male Hebrew children be killed. In order to do this, the player carries Moses from one end of the level to the other in a manner quite similar to the way in which characters in Super Mario Bros. 2 carry vegetables. That seems straight up
So
blasphemy.
blasphemous.
Moses can be thrown
I
around
hope it's the...
without harming him. Oh dear.
Oh dear. Moses can be thrown around.
Yeah, in his basket, I assume. But enemies cannot be harmed in any way. Maybe that's a reflection on like the
Peace.
ultimate battle. Well, no, I was going the
Between
other way.
throwing a baby
And not dying yourself. The adversaries attempt to throw Moses into the Nile. If the player completes the level without Moses, the game says
I'm so excited.
it's just the most dumb thing. Good work, but you forgot baby Moses. Good work, but oh fuck, that's so good. And the level must be restarted from the beginning.
You forgot.
The title character, God's own baby Moses.
Oh, I think that's a quote from Genesis, is it not?
Yeah, good job, said God. But you forgot baby Moses. Therefore, and lo, Noah returned unto baby Moses, brandishing his
hand.
knockout stick, and thwacked him across thine temple. The game has been criticised for being, you'd never believe it, overly didactic. E.g., gameplay is broken up by 4 Bible verses.
Also, there's something like canonically weird about the fact that like Noah gains health by reading Bible verses. Like,
Oh,
but
yeah,
like,
the Bible wasn't out then.
yeah, wasn't out.
He hadn't even pre-ordered.
Hadn't even been released. He hadn't queued up in cosplay outside WH Smith's
Weird,
to get
isn't
it yet.
That is, yeah, you're right. That's unnerving, and it suggests a kind of creepy omniscience and omnipotence that I don't think the game would have intended.
No.
So there are 3 main criticisms: overly didactic,
Yeah.
highly derivative of Super Mario Brothers 2, and
That's the most incredibly blasphemous criticism of it.
and for generally bad gameplay.
So it was very specifically bad for a religious game. It was also entirely plagiarized. It used the
And then
same engine, and
just
then
once more.
also fundamentally it was shit.
It also has been criticised for its recycling of other levels. Each level basically has the same gameplay and same style of gameplay. Nevertheless, now this is unusual.
Okay.
It reportedly sold blank copies in Christian bookstores I want you to just ballpark. So think about like,
How many Christian bookstores there are?
yeah, exactly. There are so many. So I think like selling 1 million copies of a game now is a huge deal.
Yeah.
It's something that like is unattainable to the overwhelming majority of developers. This was in 1991. The NES was popular, but with a heavy caveat that it was like a pioneering and confusing box that very few people bothered with. That was some Pepsi being opened, not one of the decoy snakes entering into our lives. Just give me a vague estimate how many you think this sold. What's your thinking?
Well,
I'll give you parameters. It's more than 1,000
yeah.
and less than 500,000.
Okay, that's interesting. I was thinking 300,000.
350,000
Yeah.
copies were sold.
That's
how
mad.
many have we had? About probably that many downloads.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and we're not in many Christian bookstores, so maybe that's an avenue.
No, I don't. I haven't checked the Congo, but
Games Radar ranked it as the 68th worst game of all time. The staff criticised the developers for their choice of Bible stories to adapt, which is such a lovely angle to attack
an amazing
it on.
criticism.
It's like, it would have been a great game if you'd had more of the whole fucking
Sodom and Gomorrah.
Delilah stuff going on.
I love. Is this saying it's the 68th worst game ever? Is that like a subtle slight against Super Mario Brothers 2? That was 67.
Or their ability to copy it. Like maybe
Yeah.
they just misunderstood what made it fun. What they thought was fun was that Mario
to the
being
end of the level
Italian
with
had
a
probably
vegetable.
been to church once.
Yeah.
So they were like, wow, let's lean into that God bit. I just want to quick fire some more Christian game titles that I've come
Okay.
across. Tell me if you played any of these. Noah's Bunny Problem, available for iOS and Android.
Noah's Bunny problem.
Presumably,
Is that a whack-a-mole-esque
well,
game?
yeah, what I'm thinking is he got 2 bunnies for the ark, but they're fucking like the proverbial rabbits that they are.
Wow.
And so he has to strangle each one, like I told you about elongating a
Oh
mouse
yeah,
neck.
pulling its head off.
Really good game.
Okay.
Granny's Bible Dojo, iOS.
Granny's Bible. I was with you.
And then you
And
weren't
then-
expecting
and then-
out of left field.
And then it's amazing how 4 letters can be so unexpected.
Transformative.
Dojo.
Yeah.
What is this, a karate-esque?
I think it's like Fruit Ninja, but for the Bible. And I think that tells you all you need to
Fruit
know.
Ninja, you cut up the fruit. You're just burning Bibles.
Granny is a heretic at best. Guitar praise. Can you guess what it's ripping off? That's right.
Guitar-
it's a Christian rhythm game.
Guitar praise is so bad. They spent 1 second coming up
Generously,
with that.
Generously.
Guitar praise, as in it sounds like you're praising the guitar.
They're all. I looked into it, and it was actually surprising. Lots of people reviewed it as a joke, but then they were like, "Actually, this plays quite well." It's just a shame that all of the music
prays
is abysmal.
quite well.
Nice. It came preloaded with 50 praise tracks, and apparently they were all very bad. Charlie Church Mouse 3D Bible Adventures.
Well, that's a classic. Every gamer, Catholic or otherwise, has played that.
Some Christian party games that you've maybe played. Finish the Sentence. You familiar with how that works?
It's a classic.
The way it works is you sit around in a group. This was on a Christian blog that I was reading. It was 11 best party games. This was number 1. And what you do is
Number 1.
you take it in turns to say, I am blessed because, and then you just finish the sentence.
And how do you win?
Yeah, you just keep finishing that sentence.
By being the most
You
blessed.
go round the circle until someone's just crying blood.
I think it should be that the person who wins is the person who feels blessed for the most banal reason.
Then there was also Name That Hymn, another quite self-explanatory.
And can
If
you?
not-
Does that come in a kazoo version?
They
or?
recommended that you hire a pianist for your Christian party.
Wow.
Just for Name That Hymn.
Bum ba-dum bum bum ba-dum bum bum.
Captain Bible in Dome of Darkness.
Captain Bible.
Captain Bible in Dome of Darkness is a Christian video game title released by Bridgestone Multimedia Group in 1994.
Okay.
The main focus of the game is scripture memorization, but action video game elements can also play a
It's
role.
amazing that the description already apologizes for the game.
Yeah.
It knows how annoyed you're going
This is
to be.
weird as well. Action video game elements can play a role depending on options selected during setup. So there must be somewhere where you're like,
I don't
making
want to
decisions.
do any action. I just
get to, like, weigh.
It's in which case it's just an ebook of the Bible.
The game centres on a city of humans, which was one day encased by a dome of darkness.
Okay.
Perpetrated by robot cybers, who have trapped the citizens in lies.
Now, do they have souls or?
I can only assume not.
Okay.
While the organisation known as Bible Corps has managed to make a hole in the dome, they have not been able to accomplish much more.
How did Bible Corps make a hole in
Sheer
the dome?
force of will.
They just
They
kept
prayed so
walking
goddamn hard.
into it.
Captain Bible is engaged by Bible Corps. Makes you kind of wonder what he was doing outside of that.
He was a
just
freelancer.
vigilante to be beamed into the city. Though he is able,
Why do they need the hole if he's going to be beaten in?
just to get stuff for morale. Though he is able,
They're
don't worry,
they're just looking in the hole, cheering him on.
Hey,
Go on, Captain Bible.
he is, and this will have been a concern on many readers' minds, many players' minds.
Yeah.
He is
White.
able to take his computer Bible with him.
Oh, thank God.
However, all of the verses
He hasn't got Wi-Fi.
all of the verses are erased. To remedy
Hang on
this,
a minute. What's the point?
to remedy this, Bible Corps beams scripture stations into the city where he may reload verses onto the
Right, okay.
Bibleometer 3000.
Yeah.
Gameplay centres on Captain Bible obtaining these verses and then using them, doesn't specify how though, to confront the cybers who obstruct the various hallways of buildings in the city.
Right.
An optional feature allows the player to engage the cybers in hand-to-hand combat, which is performed using the Sword of the Spirit and the Shield of Faith. That's good.
I like
That's
that,
hats
yeah.
off. The game is presumably set in the somewhat distant future based upon several of the game details, including the cybers themselves, the transporter-type device used to beam Captain Bible into the dome, and the big spacecraft he uses in the opening screen to fly into the command post.
This is a big spacecraft.
So there we have it.
I'm surprised there weren't more. I mean, maybe they just don't appear on the list, but more Catholic games based on like the Crusades.
I think they've been found too offensive to be played.
I see.
They've actually been written out of Catholic history.
Well,
the reform.
that's interesting because they've kept a lot of interesting and hateful stuff in.
They say keep what you pillage,
Keep the core hate.
but remove the memory of it.
Right.
It's a bit like the Elgin marbles, I suppose.
Right,
We're
yeah.
allowed them
Because
but-
we stole
but
them.
we don't want to talk about the stealing because
Well,
that's
don't
not
talk
on.
about that.
Don't bring it up. is
I
what I'm
read
saying.
such a banal and offensive article in one of the like free train newspapers.
Oh yeah,
Which is a free newspaper they give you on the train, not about the
Declan's an
train.
enthusiast.
That
Imagine
said-
if you'd held off telling everyone that you were a massive trainer file for 130 episodes of this show.
the greatest shame of all. That was the eponymous shame.
That was our final episode.
That was saying about stuff like the Elgin marbles, and I can't remember, it was another one that was in the news at the time.
Yeah.
And about like, oh, isn't it so silly that they want them back? Like, it's a diverse world. More people from diverse backgrounds are going to get to see these things if they're here.
Right.
So it seems very silly to give them back to the people that we stole them from all that time ago.
That's a really good argument for any type of theft.
Exactly.
Ever, as long as you steal something and take it to a more diverse place.
All I wanted to do was like just go and like
Mug
rob
them.
her identity. And
It's fine. I've taken it right to hack you.
yeah, I gave it to a black person, and
Don't
now
worry
your
about
identity's much better.
I think this has been an episode in which we have fully, and I mean fully, covered the Catholic gaming community. We are, much like the BBC used to be back in the old days, sworn to provide balance. And I think we've done so. We've given them a fair shake.
Oh, of course.
Not without our own criticisms. Not without poking a little characteristic fun here and there.
No.
But never in a mean-spirited
But
way.
more positive publicity than they'll have had in
Absolutely.
decades.
In fact, they've never had any publicity, even once, apart from us. So God bless them for that. This has been your first episode of 2019 in which we are adopting the new focused format. So feedback will be much appreciated. And we have a plethora of ways in which to procure it. Don't we, Declan?
Of course. You could email. We received a lovely email this week.
Just the other day. Really good it was.
Thanking us for our contribution.
Our guest article.
In what can only be described as one of the filthiest, smuttiest online publications going. Which, we would like to say here and now, we didn't write and
it was
doesn't
such
exist.
a confusing scam because it didn't even link to it. It required you to be interested enough to Google it, which of course we both were. Very strange.
And now we both lost our identities.
Now I'm working for them.
You can email us
Yeah.
if you've got any similar scams or indeed anything nicer to give.
I'd like to know what you think would make for good features of a Catholic game. Tell us at tass@shame.city.
Or you can contact us via the website, shame.city/contact.
True enough.
You can find us on Twitter.
Very godful place.
At That's a Shamecast
Yep.
is the show. At DE Delane for my particularly Catholic thoughts.
Yep.
At Isaac BD for his sometimes traitorous and heretical
I like to keep
readings.
people guessing.
You can, as we mentioned earlier, donate to our Patreon.
Yeah, supporting us on Patreon is much encouraged and appreciated. It doesn't cost a great deal in the grand scheme of things, although, of course, I recognise that's relative. So if you can afford an extra, or if you can afford not to have an extra pint of beer, download a new game from the Switch store
A month.
a month, then chuck it our way and it means a lot.
That would be really helpful.
And just to reiterate once more, if you sign up in February, hold off for now. Hold off till it is February, because
Yeah.
otherwise, no, you know what? If you sign up before, we'll do it.
we will do it. Yeah,
That'd
we're
be
not
such a
such
dick
cunts.
move. You will be getting free to your door stickers and badges.
Stickers
/
plural,
button,
badge
singular. Maybe we'll see how many arrive.
Well, yeah.
And
See how many people sign up.
yeah, exactly. So
If you're the last person, if it's like the
you're going to get
28th, then you're
48 buttons, and you must wear them all. You just must.
Yeah.
Patreon.com/ShameCity. We've got all new tiers, including a brand new episode a month available at the comptroller level, in which we take the This Week in Shame feature, which was enjoyed by many.
and we steal it from the general listenership, put it behind a paywall, and only do it once a month.
Way! Everyone, especially you, is a winner. No, we'll still do This Week in Shame every now and then.
Yeah.
It's just not going to be every week.
No, because
That'd
then
be
you will have
silly.
to pay for no.
So patreon.com/ShameCity.
Hop on the old Discord. Shamecity.
do.
Shame.city
Yeah.
/Discord.
We're chatting
It's
there 24/7.
Mostly a film recommendation chat at the moment, but it will diversify.
It can be steered into anything you want. We're going to have some very in-depth political discussions there. I'm going to start sharing my bank details there, just to pique interest.
Social security number.
Why not? I don't know what it is, so
No.
might as well just guess with the listeners. And of course, if you're sitting there in this world with even one ghost of a friend beside you in a metaphorical or literal sense, we urge, we implore, we grovel at your knees, like baby Moses himself,
God.
not to be forgotten,
Pathetic basket dwelling.
but instead to spread the word, the good news of That's a Shame, especially now that it's in a state where recommending it, people won't think you're totally off your head.
Yeah.
Because there were episodes that I wouldn't recommend to a friend, and there are episodes that I would. And this whole year is going to be one long episode that we should all be impelled to shout about from the rooftops.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's a big claim.
It's a true claim.
And to attempt to back it up,
Yep.
we'd like to announce
For the first time
ever
in TAS story,
next week's
Yeah.
episode will be feature.
uh-huh,
We're going to be coming up with
Yeah.
5 feature ideas each.
Yep.
You
I'm
may remember we
pitching
did
them.
this about 40 odd episodes ago.
and it coined Ding Dong Dadvice amongst others.
Of course, a
which-
classic.
All excellent features. This time, I think we should go for a mixture of some that are slightly more actionable.
Yeah.
Because in hindsight, I see the logistical flaws behind the Ding Dong
Dong
Dadvice,
Dadvice,
otherwise
yeah.
sound concept.
Yeah.
We'll be pitching them. We'll be taking your feedback on a Twitter poll. Maybe a Patreon survey as well. It's all to play for. Until episode 131, knowing in your heart of hearts that you've hopped on patreon.com/ShameCity and wommed the bomb out of it. I've been Isaac. You've been.
I've been Declan.
And we're some of the most godful folk you're ever likely to meet.
Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities, oh Mother Nature's recipes that bring the bare necessities of life. Wherever I wander, wherever I roam, I couldn't be fonder of my big home. The bees are buzzing in the tree to make some honey just for me. The bare necessities of life will come to you. For the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities, oh Mother Nature's recipes that bring the bare necessities of life. Wherever I wander, wherever I roam, I couldn't be fonder, my new home. The bees are buzzing in the tree to make some honey just for me. The bare necessities of life will come to you. Necessities, the bare necessities, the bare necessities of life will come to you.